You know, most romance novels give you that promise of a happy ending right from page one. But what happens when a story about finding love starts by questioning if happily ever after is even real? Well, that's the big question at the very core of Emily Henry's bestseller, Beach Read. So let's break down how it builds this amazing modern love story right from the ashes of a broken heart.
And boom, this is the moment our main character's entire world just shatters. This one line sets up the whole conflict for the book, this huge battle between the beautiful stories we tell ourselves and the messy, complicated, sometimes ugly reality of life.
So, who's the person being forced to face this ugly truth? Well, let's meet January Andrews, a woman whose whole life and, her entire career are built on making up happy endings, only to find out her own story has just completely imploded.
See, January isn't just someone who writes romance novels. She is a true believer. Her entire worldview is that love and laughter can beat fear every single time. But that belief gets totally destroyed when her dad does, and she finds out he had a whole secret life, a mistress, a second home, the whole thing. The man she thought she knew, the story of her family, it was all a lie.
And to add insult to injury, she's now broke and has to go live in the very place that symbolizes the collapse of her world. Can you imagine? She's literally trapped in her father's love nest with a deadline for a romance novel that she no longer has the heart, or frankly the belief, to even write.
So just when January thinks things can't possibly get any more complicated, the story throws a major wrench into the works, in the form of her new next-door neighbor.
Her neighbor is Augustus Everett, or Gus, and he's not just any author, he is her complete opposite. While she writes about hope and happy endings, he writes about the darker, messier, more tragic side of being human. Oh, and to top it all off, they were bitter rivals back in college. Of course they were.
And this just lays out their conflict perfectly. It's not just personal, it's professional. It's like that real-world debate about serious literary fiction versus fluffy romance. Gus writes what she calls, and I love this, Hemingway's circle jerk fan fiction. His whole worldview is basically summed up in a note he sends her. Life is meaningless, January. They are polar opposites in a battle of ideas.
So this clash leads them, naturally, to a bet. They're both stuck with writer's block, both dealing with their own baggage, so they make a deal. She's going to try to write his kind of dark, serious literary fiction, and he's going to try to write a happily ever after romance. And this bet, it becomes the engine for the entire story.
Okay, so the rules are simple, but what they lead to is huge. They agree to coach each other, and that means taking one another on these research trips. And these trips are specifically designed to push each other way, way outside of their creative and emotional comfort zones.
Now, these research trips, this is where the story gets really deep. It's where their little professional rivalry starts to become deeply personal, and where those walls they both built up start to come crumbling down.
You'd think Gus would ease her into his world, right? Nope, not at all. His idea of research for a dark literary novel is to throw her right into the deep end of human tragedy. He takes January to meet people who have gone through unimaginable pain, forcing her to look right at the ugly truth she's been trying so hard to run from in her own life.
I mean, this quote just gives you this stark, chilling look into the world Gus writes about. There is no sugarcoating it. He explores these complicated, devastating losses, which is the exact opposite of the hopeful world January has always built in her books.
And January's assignment for Gus, well, it's just as challenging for him, but in a completely, almost comically different way. She makes him dive headfirst into the very rom-com tropes and cheesy scenarios that he thinks are totally unrealistic and just fluff.
The contrast here is just incredible. I mean, the whiplash. He introduces her to the survivors of a suicide cult. She drags him to a drive-in for a triple feature of When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail. So through these trips, they're not just exploring genres, they're basically stress-testing each other's entire philosophy on life.
So, while January is out there researching fictional tragedies, she's also being forced to uncover the real-life tragedy in her own family. Those secrets hiding in her father's beach house, they can't stay hidden forever.
She finds this locked safe. She tries all the obvious codes. His anniversary with her mom, nothing. Then, on a whim, she tries her own birthday. And click, it opens. But what's inside is not what she expects at all. It's a stack of letters, all written to her by her father over her entire life.
And these letters, they reveal a side of her father she never ever knew existed. He wasn't just the perfect dad from her memories or the villain who betrayed her mother. He was a real, flawed, vulnerable human being, filled with fear and doubt, just trying to do his best.
In another letter, he's reflecting on her favorite book from when she was a kid, The Giving Tree, and he says he's worried her selfless nature will just lead to her getting hurt. This just complicates that simple story of betrayal she'd been telling herself. He wasn't just a cheat, he was a father who loved his daughter so much that he worried about her.
And this quote right here, this is the key. Her father owns his mistakes, but he frames them inside this bigger, unwavering love for her. It's not an excuse, not at all, but it's a more complicated truth. It's not the ugly truth or the beautiful lie. It's both tangled up together. And that's what finally allows her to start to heal.
Finding those letters is a total game changer. It doesn't just change how she sees her past, it changes everything about how she sees her future, with her writing, with Gus, and with herself.
It's like, by digging into all this messy, painful, real-life stuff together, they find a way to break through their writer's block. They start writing authentically, and in doing that, they find something authentic with each other. A real, imperfect, and much more meaningful love than January ever wrote about in her old books.
This quote is everything. It's the heart of the entire book. It becomes January's new belief system. True happiness isn't about avoiding the bad stuff or pretending the darkness isn't there. It's about knowing the hardship is real and still choosing to find the beauty and hope that can grow even in the toughest places.
And that's the ultimate takeaway, isn't it? Beach Read just brilliantly redefines happily ever after. It's not some perfect, neat destination you finally arrive at. It's an ongoing, resilient choice. A choice to keep looking for the good, to keep loving through all the mess, and to keep writing your own story even when the plot takes a turn you never, ever saw coming.